Known as the Friendly Islands, St. Martin actually is split into two separate sides, which is going to be St. Martin, the French side, and St. Martin, the Dutch side. These are completely separate with their own languages and currencies. However, you can actually cross right over as if you were entering another city. This was my second time to this port, so I was actually ready for a very relaxed day. So if you're looking for a nice chill way to spend the day on St. Martin, let's get into it. Once you pull into port, you're going to be pulling into Philipsburg, which is going to be on the Dutch side of the island. This cruise port feels like most other cruise ports in the Caribbean. It's very colorful and it has your standard shops like Effie and Diamonds International. There's also plenty of other souvenir shops if you want to pick something up. I actually picked up my favorite souvenir on St. Martin. It's this really beautiful blue necklace, and unfortunately I cannot remember the name of the stone. I also didn't have any issues in this port with people trying to come up and sell me anything, so that was a very pleasant surprise. Also with this port, they have a guava berry colada stand. If you're not familiar with guava berry liqueur, it's actually the official liquor of St. Martin. It's really delicious. This one stand actually makes it into a colada. Yeah, I got one of these. These are good. I think it only cost us about $8 US. It was lightly sweet. I really enjoyed it, and I don't normally purchase alcohol off of the ship when I have a drink package, but something unique like this does tend to be the exception. If you keep walking towards the back of the port, that's where you're going to find taxis if you want to venture further off into the island. Otherwise, Philipsburg is actually only a 15-minute walk down the road, but a water taxi is actually also an option. It's also important to note the government of St. Martin does have regulated taxi fares that does go down with the amount of people that you have in the vehicle. So if you can find someone who's going to a similar destination as you, that could be a great way to save some money. These fares are posted near the taxis for reference, and I would highly recommend that you have cash for them. They do accept US dollars. As I said, St. Martin is split into two, so I like to start my day on the French side of the island. It's a good place to start because it's a little bit farther away from the port, and you can work your way back throughout the day so that you can be a little less stressed when it comes to time. We took a taxi with another couple to Orient Beach, so thankfully that did save some money. The beach does have both a clothed and a nude side. We decided to stay on swimsuit side of the beach. You can go to the nude side, but don't worry if that makes you uncomfortable. The two beaches are decently away from each other, so you're probably going to be in the clear if you don't want to be seeing anybody's extra skin. We also got fresh coconut water from a vendor. I thought this was absolutely delicious. The coconut water by itself cost about $5. It was really cool because we got to see them actually open the coconut up, and then my boyfriend decided to put some rum in it for an extra $5, and I honestly thought it tasted way better before he did that, because you do have to drink some of the coconut water before they can add any rum to it. It was December and it was still quite hot. Adding the alcohol probably wasn't a good mix. I would say just get the plain coconut water. That was great on its own. We also did forget to bring towels, unfortunately, off the ship, so we had to buy one. There was a vendor, but it wound up costing us $20, and that was just a complete and utter waste of money that could have been very much avoided. Make sure that you do remember to bring a towel with you, even if you don't think you're going to the beach, because I didn't think we were going to the beach that day. Better to be safe than sorry if you don't want to spend money on something that you can easily borrow and return to the ship. You will also hear and see a lot of French on this side. There's a reason it's called the French side of the island. French is the official language. They also use the euro and have European style license plates. However, they will accept US dollars. Do remember though, the local currency will always get you a better deal. After our time at the beach, we decided it was time to head over to the Dutch side of the island. Unfortunately, we were able to grab a taxi with some other people and save some more money to get back over there. Similar to visiting the French side first, I like visiting the Dutch side second because it's basically a walk away to the cruise port in case for some reason you lose track of time. You'll notice that the Dutch side feels very different than the French. There's clearly a very different cultural feel because they were colonized by two separate countries. On this side of the island, the currency is actually the Netherlands Antillean guilder. They do speak Dutch, but you're gonna hear mostly English. Walking around downtown Philipsburg, I think, is a really great way to see a lot of the hustle and bustle of the island, as it is going to be the capital of the Dutch side. Philipsburg is also way more than just the boardwalk. If you are interested in shopping, you can check out Front Street, which is filled with a bunch of high-end shops as well as souvenir shops. This is also where the Yoda Museum is if you're a fan of Star Wars. I actually went there the first time I was on the island about 5 years prior. It's a really fun time. The boardwalk also has plenty of shops and restaurants for you to visit. It's also a pretty decent walk up and down if you have time to do the whole thing. Towards the end of the boardwalk is also where you can find the water taxi if you'd like to take that back to the ship, which is actually what we wound up doing, and it does cost $5 US if you didn't pay for the ticket by the cruise port. So make sure you have cash for that. There are also plenty of places, as I said, to get lunch in the area. We wound up going to a place called Kahlua. It was a very small open air kind of restaurant. Most of the restaurants do have an open window sort of concept. I wound up ordering the red snapper with peas and rice as well as a salad. I thought it was going to be a whole red snapper. unfortunately it wound up being a filet. However, it was still really good and actually wound up being, I think, the most expensive meal I had the entire trip. It cost me about $25. The waitstaff, however, were incredibly polite and I didn't have any problems. I love getting fish in the Caribbean. However, don't worry if that's not your thing. There's a lot of other places that sell things like jerk chicken or something else that might be up your alley. If you're interested, the boardwalk also does have access to a beach. I didn't swim in it this time around, but just know that it is an option. St. Martin has a lot to offer, and honestly, I kind of wish I had done a little bit more than I did. This was a really relaxed day on the island. If you'd like even more recommendations for things to do on St. Martin, you can check out my blog post on my website, Eden and Thread. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you found this helpful, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!